In our modern world, an invisible epidemic affects millions of people from all walks of life, regardless of age, gender, or background. This condition is depression, and it stands as the leading cause of disability across the globe. In the United States alone, statistics show that nearly 1 in 10 adults will grapple with this serious mental health disorder at some point. It is far more than just a fleeting case of the blues or a bad day. It is a persistent and often debilitating illness that can cast a long, dark shadow over every aspect of an individual's existence, making even the simplest tasks feel monumental and overwhelming. Understanding its true nature is the first critical step toward compassion and effective treatment. It is absolutely essential to distinguish between the common human emotion of sadness and the medical diagnosis of clinical depression. Everyone experiences moments of sadness, grief, or disappointment. These feelings are a natural and healthy response to life's challenges and losses. However, clinical depression, also known as major depressive disorder, is fundamentally different. It is a persistent medical condition characterized by an overwhelming and unyielding low mood that doesn't simply go away on its own. For a diagnosis to be made, these severe symptoms must last for at least 2 consecutive weeks and be significant enough to interfere with a person's ability to function at work, maintain relationships, or even engage in daily life. To provide a clear framework for diagnosis, medical professionals and psychiatrists rely on a specific set of criteria. A person must exhibit at least 5 of a list of key symptoms to be diagnosed with major depressive disorder. These symptoms include media group, person sitting with head in hands all day, individual staring blankly at wall, looking deeply sad at stock at distribute _equally, a profoundly low or depressed mood for most of the day, nearly every day, a marked loss of interest or pleasure in activities that were once enjoyed, a condition known as anhedonia, drastic changes in appetite or weight, either eating and sleeping too much or far too little, a pervasive feeling of fatigue or loss of energy that makes every action feel like a struggle. Beyond the more commonly known symptoms, a diagnosis of depression also considers several other critical indicators that paint a fuller picture of the disorder's impact. These can include media group, person looking in mirror with low self-esteem, individual sitting alone with the face in hands appearing ashamed at stock at distribute _equally, feelings of profound worthlessness or excessive inappropriate guilt that may not be based in reality, psychomotor changes, where they either feel intensely restless and agitated or, conversely, significantly slowed down in their movements and speech, difficulty concentrating, remembering details and making decisions, recurrent thoughts of death or suicide are a defining and urgent symptom that requires immediate attention and professional intervention to ensure the person's safety and well-being. Depression is not a sign of personal weakness or a character flaw. It is a complex medical illness with a tangible biological basis rooted in the intricate workings of the human brain. Advanced neuroimaging studies have revealed visible structural differences in the brains of individuals with chronic depression compared to those without the disorder. Specifically, research has shown that areas like the frontal lobes and the hippocampus can be smaller in volume. The frontal lobes are crucial for higher-level cognitive functions, like reasoning and emotional regulation, while the hippocampus plays a vital role in learning and memory. These physical changes help explain why depression can so profoundly affect a person's thoughts, feelings, and ability to function. Beyond structural alterations, depression is also closely linked to the brain's complex chemistry. The communication system between brain cells relies on chemical messengers called neurotransmitters. In individuals with depression, there is often an imbalance or disruption in the transmission of key neurotransmitters like serotonin, which helps regulate mood, sleep, and appetite, norepinephrine, which is involved in alertness and energy, and dopamine, which is tied to feelings of pleasure and motivation. This is why many effective treatments for depression, particularly medications, are designed to help restore the normal balance of these critical brain chemicals, thereby alleviating the persistent and heavy symptoms of the disorder. The body's hormonal systems also play a significant role in the development and persistence of depression. The stress response system in particular can become dysregulated. Many people with depression exhibit chronically high levels of the stress hormone cortisol, which over time can have detrimental effects on both the brain and the body. Furthermore, the thyroid hormones, which are responsible for regulating metabolism and energy levels, can also be out of balance. This intricate interplay between the brain's structure, its chemical messengers, and the body's hormonal environment underscores the fact that depression is a comprehensive, systemic illness that affects a person's entire physiology, not just their mind. Another biological aspect of depression involves the disruption of our natural circadian rhythms, the internal 24-hour clock that governs our sleep-wake cycles. Many individuals with depression experience significant disturbances in their sleep patterns, such as difficulty falling asleep, waking up frequently during the night, or sleeping excessively. Scientific studies of sleep have shown specific changes in the sleep architecture of depressed individuals, including alterations in REM sleep and deep, slow-wave sleep. These disruptions not only contribute to the pervasive fatigue associated with the condition, but also further interfere with the brain's ability to regulate mood and process emotions effectively, creating a difficult cycle to break. The question of what causes depression in one person and not another is incredibly complex, with no single simple answer. It is widely understood that the condition arises from a multifaceted interplay between genetic predisposition and environmental factors. Genetics can certainly play a role. Having a close family member, such as a parent or sibling, with depression increases an individual's risk. This suggests that certain genetic variations may make some people more vulnerable to developing the disorder. However, genes are not destiny. It is the combination of this underlying vulnerability with challenging life circumstances that often triggers the onset of a depressive episode. Environmental factors and life experiences are powerful contributors to the risk of developing depression. Exposure to chronic stress, trauma, abuse, or significant life upheavals, such as the loss of a loved one, a difficult divorce, or financial hardship, can act as potent triggers. Even early life adversity can shape the brain's development in ways that make a person more susceptible to depression later on. The exact cause is still not fully understood, and currently, there is no single diagnostic tool that can predict with certainty who will develop the condition. This highlights the importance of a comprehensive approach that considers a person's entire biological, psychological, and social landscape. Fortunately, even though its causes are complex, depression is a highly treatable medical condition. A combination of psychotherapy and medication is often considered the most effective approach. Psychotherapy or talk therapy provides individuals with invaluable tools and coping strategies to manage their symptoms, challenge negative thought patterns, and resolve underlying issues. Simultaneously, antidepressant medications can work on a biological level to help rebalance the brain's neurochemistry, lifting the heavy fog of depression and making it easier for a person to engage in therapy and daily life. These treatments are not mutually exclusive. In fact, they often work best in concert with one another. For individuals with severe or treatment-resistant depression, there are other powerful and effective options available. Electroconvulsive therapy, or ECT, is a well-established medical procedure that involves inducing a brief, controlled seizure in the brain under general anesthesia. While it may sound intimidating, ECT is a safe procedure that can provide rapid and significant relief for those who have not responded to other treatments. Newer technologies are also showing great promise. Transcranial magnetic stimulation, or TMS for instance, is a non-invasive procedure that uses magnetic fields to stimulate nerve cells in the brain involved in mood regulation, offering a new avenue of hope for many. One of the most tragic aspects of mental illness is the profound silence and stigma that so often surround it. According to the National Institute of Mental Health, a person suffering from a mental health condition like depression waits, on average, over 10 years before seeking professional help. This long delay can lead to years of unnecessary suffering, strained relationships, and diminished quality of life. The reasons for this delay are varied and complex, including fear of judgment, lack of awareness about treatment options, and the nature of the illness itself, which can sap a person's motivation to even seek help. Breaking this pattern begins with recognizing depression as a treatable medical issue. If you suspect a friend, family member, or loved one is struggling with depression, your support can be a crucial lifeline. A compassionate and gentle approach is key. You can start by encouraging them to speak with a doctor or a mental health professional, offering practical assistance like helping them find a therapist or even accompanying them to their first appointment. It is vital to frame the conversation carefully. Reassure them that what they are experiencing is a legitimate medical condition, much like asthma or diabetes, and not a reflection of their character or a personal failing. This validation can help dismantle the feelings of shame that often accompany the illness. When supporting someone with depression, it is important to avoid certain common pitfalls. Comparing their profound illness to temporary feelings of sadness can be incredibly invalidating and may induce feelings of guilt, making them feel as though they should be able to simply snap out of it. Instead, listen without judgment and validate their experience. Furthermore, do not be afraid to talk openly and directly about the topic of depression and even suicide. Contrary to old myths, research shows that asking someone if they are having suicidal thoughts does not plant the idea in their head. Instead, it can open a critical door for communication and significantly reduce their risk. Ultimately, the most powerful message we can share is one of hope and understanding. Depression is a common and treatable illness, not a life sentence of despair. Seeking help is a sign of immense strength and courage, not weakness. By fostering open conversations, challenging stigma, and ensuring that those who are struggling feel seen, heard, and supported, we can create a community where everyone feels empowered to take the first step toward recovery. If you or someone you know is struggling, remember that effective treatments are available, and a path to a brighter, healthier future is absolutely possible.